Good morning, world. Well, it was cloudy. It was partly cloudy anyway, but now it's all blue skies here in Hillsboro, Oregon, USA. And I got to straighten this out. I'll be all lopsided. There, fix that. Ah, boy, I have more problems than Carter's got liver pills, but God gives me cures for them. Anyway, I have Charles Spurgeon sitting over here in the chair beside me over here, but you can't see him. No, you can't see him because he's shy. You didn't know Charles Spurgeon was shy, did you? But he is. Anyway, he gave me one of his sermons to work on. And you know his sermons, they're long. They're great, the greatest sermons ever delivered, but they're long. They're 45 minutes or an hour. And most people don't have the patience to have me sit and go through that long a time with my yammering. So I have to cut them down. So this will be about a third the length or probably shorter even. So here we go. And immediately, this is from Mark chapter 6, verses 45 through 52, and I'm reading from the ESV. And immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had taken leave of them, he went up on the mountain to pray. He always did this. We ought also to do this. And when evening came, the boat was out on the sea, and he was alone on the land. And he saw that they were making headway painfully, for the wind was against them, as it is often against us, the world and the devil and whatever. And about the fourth watch of the night, he came to them walking on the sea. He meant to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost, and they cried out, for they all saw him, and they were terrified. But immediately he spoke to them, and he said, "Take heart, it's I. Don't be afraid." And he got into the boat with them, and the wind, it ceased, it stopped. It was quiet, and they were utterly astounded. For they didn't understand about the loaves, but their hearts were hardened. Well, friends, this story from Mark's Gospel is a word of comfort for all of us who are trying to follow where Jesus leads. The disciples, they were exactly where Jesus told them to be. They were out on the water. They were rowing to the other side. They didn't want to leave Jesus behind, but he told them to go. So even though they obeyed, they ran right into a storm. Sometimes, even when you're doing what God has called us to do, we have trouble. Storms, they still come. Trouble doesn't mean you're in the wrong place. No. Sometimes it means you're right where you're supposed to be. We got to learn lessons. Jesus, he never promised smooth sailing. In fact, he said in John 16:33, "In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, Pilgrim. I have overcome the world." Well, he guarantees you'll reach the other side, but he doesn't promise the sea will always be calm. It'll always be easy. The disciples, they rowed all night. They got nowhere because the wind was against them. Sometimes just holding your ground is a victory, Philippians 4:1 says, "Therefore, my brothers, whom I love and long for, my joy and my crown, stand firm thus in the Lord, my beloved." Yeah, there are times in life when standing firm is all you can do, and that's enough. God sees you struggling. He knows your heart. He counts your effort, not just your progress. Well, maybe you're praying and feeling like your prayers aren't getting anywhere. Maybe you're trying to do good, but it feels like you're not making any difference at all. Well, don't give up. Don't give up. As long as you're still rowing, you're still struggling, you're still fighting, Jesus has nothing but encouragement for you. Yeah, now when Jesus, he came to them, walking on the water the way he was, he said, "Take heart, it's I. Don't be afraid." The disciples, they weren't really afraid of the storm. They were afraid of Jesus himself. They saw him doing something miraculous. It scared them. Sometimes God's power, it can seem overwhelming, especially when we don't understand what he's doing. The disciples, they'd just seen Jesus feed 5,000 people, 5,000 with few loaves of bread. But they didn't connect that miracle with what was happening at this time. When they saw Jesus walking on the water, they thought he was a ghost or something. They were frightened by the supernatural, by something they couldn't explain. Well, it's easy to say, we wouldn't have been afraid if we'd been there. Yeah, we're brave. But the truth is, the unknown, it can be scary for any of us. Sometimes when God works in ways we don't expect it can unsettle us. But as believers, we don't need to fear the supernatural. In Romans 8:31, we read, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Yeah, who can? Nobody. Angels, miracles, even the mysteries of heaven, these are things we should welcome, not fear, because we belong to Jesus. Jesus, he comforted his disciples by letting them know it was really him. He said, "It is I." He was no ghost. He was no illusion. He was their friend, their Lord, the same Jesus who had eaten with them and taught them. Hebrews 4:15 says, "For we don't have a high priest who's unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin." Jesus is truly human, and he's truly God, too. He understands us, and he's with us. It's important to remember that Jesus, he's real. Our faith isn't an idea. It isn't a dream. But he's a living Savior. That's what we believe in, a living Savior, Jesus Christ. A real Jesus. A real Jesus brings real hope in real storms. When Jesus said, "It is I," the Greek words he used are the same as when God told Moses his name was I am. I am. Jesus is God himself, unchanging, all-powerful, always present. Hebrews 13:8 says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. No matter what changes around us, Jesus, he remains. He's with us forever. Well, when Jesus, he stepped into the boat, the storm stopped. His presence brought peace. In the same way, when we invite Jesus into our lives and our troubles, he brings calm in the midst of chaos. He's Emmanuel. You know what that means? That means God with us. God is with us. Jesus is with us. He's on our side. Matthew 1:23, Emmanuel, God with us. Yeah, there are times we especially need to hear Jesus say, "Take heart, it's I. Don't be afraid." You know, when the world seems dark, when there's trouble in your family, there's trouble in your job, there's trouble in the world, and boy, there is. Remember, Jesus is still in control. When we face death, as we approach the end of life, or when we lose someone we love, Jesus is with us. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for you are with me." God is with me. Jesus is with me. I'm not alone. When we suffer, sometimes trials are so overwhelming that we can't see a way out. And in those times, in those moments, only the presence of Jesus can bring true comfort. When God reveals himself, sometimes God's presence is so powerful it humbles us. Even then, Jesus says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It is I. When Jesus returns, one day Jesus will come back, you know. For those who know him, it'll be a day of joy, not fear. 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17 says, for the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a cry of command. And so we will always be with the Lord. Well, friends, whatever storm you're facing, remember Jesus is with you. He says, take heart, it's I. Don't be afraid. Let his presence give you peace. Let it give you courage. Courage to go on, knowing that the one who walks on the water is the same one who loves you, the same one who gave his life for you. That's all. That's all Charlie had to say. Well, he had more to say, but that's all I have to say. We have Jesus. If we are born again, we have Jesus. Trust him. Count on him. He's there. It is him. As he said, it is I. I am here, and I'm going to help you. He is going to help you. He helps me. Thank God for that. Well, Pilgrim, please like, share, subscribe. Let the news out. Jesus saves. And also let the news out about this little thing I do. About this thing on Facebook. Or you can, not Facebook, but YouTube. And you can also go to that website, faithfulpilgrim.org, and all the videos are there. You can see them. If you go there, you don't have to subscribe to YouTube. I do want you to subscribe to YouTube. Well, now, if you're all confused, I'm sorry, but it's time to leave you. I'm going to leave you with this. God bless. And spend a lot of time in the Bible today, every day. Spend time in prayer, a lot of time, every day. And walk with Jesus. Beside him, behind him. Don't get ahead of him. That's not where you want to be. You want to be right with him. God bless. See you later.